So the nickname Juice came in seventh grade. I gave it to myself where I grew up at Loyola Park on the north side of Chicago. You know, at that time, everyone had a saying when they was playing basketball. And for me, when I would shoot threes, I would say juice. I would scream it out. And when everyone asked, I said it was because my jump shot was 100% pure.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Clubhouse Talks. Today we have on Michael Juice Thompson. Juice, great to have you on. We met probably about a month or two ago and working on a few different projects, but excited to dive into more of like the behind the scenes of what you're doing with your business and organization. Want to quickly just introduce yourself to our audience, background on who you are, where you came from, and what you're doing.
Well, good morning, Adam. I appreciate you, having me on the show. I've been looking forward to this. And, as you mentioned, we've been working on some projects and, you all are really creative and talented. So very grateful to have met you all and continue, to work with you guys. And, for me, my name, Michael Juice Thompson, born and raised here in Chicago, Illinois, from the north side of Chicago. Went to Lincoln Park High School, played 4 years of varsity basketball. And from there, I went on to play at Northwestern University, and I had a really good career at Northwestern. I was a starter since the first day at Northwestern, and with the things I was able to accomplish on the court, I was able to turn that into a professional basketball career. I played 12 years professionally overseas. I played in France, Germany, Turkey, Kazakhstan, and Egypt. And throughout my time playing in those different countries, I was able to play in some leagues that allowed us to travel to other countries and play against teams in different areas and different regions. So the things I was able to learn throughout my journey of playing basketball, the life lessons, the people, the relationships, and embracing of different cultures is really, set me up for life after basketball. And now I'm back in Chicago. I'm a full-time, skills development coach. I work with kids as young as 6 years old, all the way up into professionals. And also I have my own nonprofit organization, which is called the Juice Hoops Foundation. And we're really big on, teaching the life lessons of basketball. And it's all about the kids. Growing up, I had a lot of mentors and people that took the time out of their day to help guide me in the right direction. So our goal and vision with the Juice Hoops Foundation is to empower and inspire the youth, using basketball as a platform to bring people together from different walks of life. And one of the other main components of the Juice Hoops Foundation is neurodiversity. I have a 9-year-old who's on the autism spectrum, and I understand, what it's like as a parent to have a child on the spectrum and the challenges that not only he faces, but myself, my wife, as parents of a neurodiverse child, as well as our youngest son who's 6 years old and the challenges that he faces as a sibling. So we're just trying to give back and help as many people as we can, mainly the children, because they're the future.
Awesome. Okay, that was a great summary. And I have to hold myself back to try to jump into each of those subjects. I mean, your playing overseas could be a whole series, I feel like, of stories and things I would love to hear. Man. I'm going to hold myself back from not diving into those. Maybe we can do another episode on that. But such a awesome, interesting background and history you have with basketball and now going into professional life after that. So we'll focus on that third part of it of after you've retired and things that you're up to. So we can speak to people are looking to maybe start their own things or they're running their own things currently to maybe connect on the similar problems, issues, challenges you've had and things you've learned along the way. So we'll dive into that today. Before we get into the details of that, Sam here in our office, big Northwestern fan, his first question, he said, I want to know where Juice came from.
So the nickname Juice came in seventh grade. I gave it to myself where I grew up at Loyola Park on the north side of Chicago. At that time, everyone had a saying when they was playing basketball. And for me, when I would shoot threes, I would say juice. I would scream it out. And when everyone asked, I said it was because my jump shot was 100% pure. Well, it still is. I still shoot even though I'm done playing. My shot is 100% pure. And the day that I brought that nickname out, I was on fire. I didn't miss many threes that I took, and from there it just stuck. And now, not too many people refer to me as Michael. It's pretty much Juice, whether that's on or off the court.
That's like a pretty successful story of a self-given nickname. Usually they don't stick that well, but I guess if you're hitting all your shots, then it's going to stick.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right. So take us to when you've made your decision to switch your career path, retire from basketball. It seemed like you retired on top there in Egypt. What was were you thinking about that for a long time? How did that come about? And did you already have your sights set on what you were doing next?
Yeah. Didn't 100% have my sights set on what I wanted to do next. Growing up and playing, I knew I wanted to play professional basketball. And after I wanted to get into coaching. But, as time went on, when I first became a professional, my goal was I always said I want to play at least 10 years of professional basketball. And once I get to year 10, I'll take it, 1 year at a time, one contract at a time, one team at a time. And it was around after year 11, started talking to my brother, who's also a major part of the Juice Hoops Foundation. And he's always been there pushing me and pretty much been my biggest supporter. And he was the one training me, getting me prepared for my seasons and watching all of my games and pretty much keeping me on track. And we had many conversations of, okay, the basketball is almost done bouncing for you. What's next? And, going into 2021, 2022, I started working with the company Swish House. They're a basketball organization for adults. You do workout classes for basketball, and it's unique. I really enjoyed it, and I was able to be a coach for that organization. And that really drove my passion of actually developing and teaching the game. And that started off with adults, and that led to me working with a few high schoolers. And now that's pushed me forward to working with so many kids in high schools, colleges, and professional athletes. And, so it's kind of unique. I retired twice. After my first season in Egypt, 2021, 2022, I went out on top. We made history, in the club's 115 years being around. We never won all championships. And
wow.
That year we won 5 championships. Yeah, it was unique. It was a great season. So we won, and a big part of me deciding to stop playing was my family. The last 4 years of me playing abroad, my wife and kids, they stayed back here in Chicago in the United States because of my son who's on the autism spectrum. It was better for our situation to have him here to get the therapy and have the resources that are provided here in the United States. So mentally it was challenging, but I knew it was time to tone it down and come home to, really assist my kids. I have 2 boys, and, it's nothing like having, a permanent, constant father figure around. So I retired. I was home. I really drove my business forward of coaching and training players, and had another contract opportunity after 10 months of being home, retired, to go back and play again in Egypt. And we were able to play in a really prestigious league, the BAL, Basketball Africa League. And it's really huge. It was cool because all the games were on ESPN or NBA TV. So for that, we were able to win that championship, and I got to play in 2 more playoffs in Egypt. So pretty unique.
Wow.
I got called in for the playoffs. So that was fun. So I was able to win that. And once I went back for that last contract, it was really officially time to start the nonprofit organization. Been work I've been doing throughout my entire life. My parents, especially my dad, he was always a father figure to so many kids, giving back and helping the next generation, pushing things forward with them. And just more conversations with my brother right before I went back overseas. We knew what we wanted to start and establish and try to teach the next generation all those life lessons, perseverance, resilience, teamwork, communication, all the things you learn just from a game. So that's when we started the Juice Hoops Foundation, and now it's been really growing, and it's been exciting to see the impact that we're having, not only on the children, but the parents, siblings, and overall families.
Awesome. So you guys had kind of the idea going into that last season you had in Egypt of the Juice Hoops Foundation. So it was starting to be conceptualized. Is that right? Going into that last season?
Yes, going into that last season, we had the idea conceptualized, and even while I was abroad, 7, 8 hour time difference, lost a lot of sleep because me and my brother were always on the phone, and it was challenging, but it was a lot of fun to be focusing on basketball, but also focusing on what's next, because I officially knew once I went out there for that last 2 months, basketball was going to be completely done for me, whether we won or lost. And I knew what the next step was going to be. So it was really time to have a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations to really drive the foundation forward.
Awesome. For how that kind of concept came together, did it stem from wanting to do something in basketball after you retired? Did it stem from wanting to do something with neurodivergent and like helping other people and families and kids? Like, what part of it do you think was a stem, and then you built off the rest of the program from?
Well, from the beginning, for years, it's always been the basketball component and helping younger players. If I was anytime I'm at a gym, if I see a kid, even if I didn't know him, I would try to reach out and help, give some guidance and assistance. But I think over time, after my son was diagnosed with autism and just meeting other families, his friends, and seeing the challenges that they all face with, healthcare or being on waiting lists or just kids not being included and having opportunities, that was the big stem to really push it forward and try to combine it all together. So it's been work that we've been doing, throughout our entire lives, but now it's just more deeper cut because, we have a son. I have a son. My brother, he has a nephew with autism, and it doesn't just affect one person. It affects everyone around, not in a negative way because everyone's the same. We're all just develop at different rates and speeds. But at the end of the day, we all want to be included.
Gotcha. So it sounded like you guys you had all these things you're passionate about, and maybe that last year going into your last year, you had to figure out, okay, these are the things we want to be doing, and you had to maybe piece together what that foundation was really going to look like what you were going to be doing day to day, how you were going to be helping, how the money was going to work. Was that kind of the different components you were working on before you got back to the U.S. to really launch it?
Yes, those are the major components, and you just hit the nail on the head. It's a lot of tough work, when you're starting an organization, a nonprofit organization, because at the end of the day, it's gentleman's work. It's work that you're doing to assist people, and you're not doing it to make money. It's to really deep down help people. So trying to figure out ways to secure funding, facilities, and which people that can really benefit from different programs. That was really a lot of the things that we had to work on and have a lot of deep conversations about, and really tap into our network of people that we know with experience or people that can give us some guidance or assistance.
Something I've like myself experienced starting a business was there's months at a time I'll go on, or I'll spend days at one problem trying to figure out how do I just solve this one problem, where it's just my inexperience. I just didn't know what to do or who to contact or how to get it done. Is there something, starting in different components of the business, securing funding, is there something that you had spun your wheels at during that first 10 months of planning everything that you couldn't connect the pieces on, that if you could talk to yourself back then and say, hey, just do this, or just talk to this person, it would have saved you weeks of work?
Yeah, I would say what really was tough was just, coming out of your shell and, not being afraid to ask for help. And when you do ask for help, be clear in your ask and, have valid reason for why you're asking and what it can actually do, how it benefits the people that you're trying to serve. In the beginning, my background in basketball, the people that we know, sometimes we were a little hesitant to reach out and just ask for favors or, tap into different networks to be able to use different facilities or get products to really assist these people. But over time, once we became comfortable and, people really opened up to us as we, got the confidence and courage to reach out to people, that was something that was really beneficial and helped us. It's similar to you, running a business or a nonprofit. There's going to be times where you may spend a few weeks because you can't find the answer. But we found that, just like basketball, any other sport, teamwork is the best way. And, it's not just doesn't fall on one person. So coming together, having a lot of conversations and being open-minded, no one not feeling as if someone is, disrespecting them or not agreeing with their opinion, but coming together as a collective unit to, figure out and solve the problems.
Yeah,
or challenges, so to speak.
Did you, and it's okay if you don't have one, I'm putting you on the spot for this, but sometimes these interviews, like the best parts of it is when we get like super specific on something. So was there someone specific you reached out to for help, or organization, or something with not-for-profit that you've learned? Is there something specific when you guys asked for help and in a way that kind of unlocked it, whatever that challenge was that you were facing at the time?
Yeah. So at the beginning, we knew we wanted to start off with a basketball event, and what our thing is with inspiring and empowering the youth. We want to put them in some really inspirational settings so they can dream big and provide them with opportunities that, aren't always attainable. And from the beginning, we had our first event at 167 Green Street. That's the gym downtown Chicago with the glass windows on the 17th floor. And
in Chicago, you could just say the gym, and people will know. Yeah,
the gym. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, we were really, really hesitant. Oh, we're new, we're up and coming. We don't know if we can secure this facility, or if we can, is it going to cost something that, is outrageous, or something at the time we wouldn't be able to do as we're, just starting off. But, over time we did our research. We talked to a lot of people that we knew, and then come to find out, it was a process, but looking back on it, it wasn't as difficult as we thought. Because as you mentioned earlier, Adam, spinning our wheels, just taking days, weeks at a time. How do we go about securing this facility or that facility? And once we reached out to some people and found the right person to talk to, it wasn't that hard, and the cost wasn't as high as we thought it would be. And from there, that really drove our confidence to really say, okay, we know some people, but all it is just asking. And you're already starting off at a no. And, the worst they can do is say no. You already started there. So come with that correct ask, be specific, and, just end of the day, be yourself.
That's like a really funny thing to like a huge hurdle, I think, to cross, is like being able to be like, why don't I just ask? Like sometimes you can get so caught up, like getting yourself so dug into like, how do I do this? Like this person's too big, or they're like, but like, and those people are just like hanging out. They're like, yeah, come on. Like if you ran into them in the street and they're like, yeah, ask me, like, see what we want to do. Like people, connecting with people is a huge thing because they want to hear stories and see how they can help. And maybe they could say no, but maybe they'll introduce you to somebody else. And so the funny thing is, a lot of times when there's a big ask, like you're saying no to yourself before somebody else can try to say yes. So it's funny how you block yourself out and psych yourself out and give yourself all these reasons it's not going to work. Whereas if you just put the question out there, at least you have a chance. Like you said, you're starting out as a no. What's the worst that can happen? And then you mentioned like asking a specific question to help yourself get maybe an answer. What do you mean by that? Asking the specific or the right question?
So with the ask is, don't really beat around the bush. Get direct, be to the point. If you have a unique relationship with that person, make your message personable to your relationship and how you two communicate, and be straightforward. I'm looking to use this gym at this time for this amount of hours. What do I have to do to secure this gym or secure what it is that you're asking for? And also, from our experience, we learn, it's also beneficial to, let them know how they can benefit from it as well. Not from a financial standpoint, but, can they put their name or logo behind it? Or, is there some way that you can help them down the line? Not to say everyone is doing things, just to get something in return, but, you want to be able to provide something in return for those people that are helping you out. Because as the saying goes, it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah. I feel like you said, people might not want things in return, but it also says something. Just know that you're thinking about, hey, I know this is an ask. I'm trying to here's what I can do for you if it's even valuable for you. But also being straightforward in the ask. Like a lot of times if you're asking what you think is like a big ask, or you're asking somebody that maybe is a stretch for you, they're probably pretty busy. And so getting some long-winded thing about everything that you're doing in like a convoluted way of saying, hey, I'm trying to use your gym for this hour. Can we do this? Here's how I can help. One way is going to like lose their attention, even if they want to help. And one way is going to be like, oh, he wants to do this. I'll see how I can do it. Simplicity and just cutting to the point for sure will help at least elicit response because they at least read the message.
Right. And as you mentioned, people are busy. So, you want to be mindful and respectful of their time, try to cut to that point and, continue to build that relationship with them.
Did you feel like, well, you had spent, I don't know how many years playing basketball, being like top of your game, playing professionally, playing overseas. I mean, maybe being challenged by playing in different cultures and different environments, but going from this place where you felt so comfortable of playing the game that to starting organization and running non-for-profit and coordinating with parents and kids and all those things. Was there a moment that you felt like, oh, this is a whole new world or out of your depth? Or do you think the challenges of basketball prepared you for it?
Yeah, I've had moments where I felt like, wow, this is a lot, can I really handle it? But as you just mentioned, the game of basketball taught me so many life lessons. And, with my process of what I like to do, I like to end of each day, take data on myself and understand certain emotions or certain thoughts or feelings and why they came about. And just, basketball over the years, it's taught me so much: delayed gratification, perseverance. And there's a big saying, I heard it from an employee at Northwestern right when I graduated, before I made the transition to professional basketball. She told me, you're going from being a big fish in a small pond to a small fish in a big pond. Meaning, I was playing in college on top of my game, all Big Ten performer. And now I'm going to start over professionally in a whole different country, different league. And I pretty much have to prove myself again. So those moments of playing basketball, the life lessons I learned, they prepared me for these times. And it was just starting all over, starting my own business of basketball training and starting this nonprofit organization. I understood it would be some hurdles, but, in the beginning, it can be really tough as you're trying to, in a business, build your clientele. Am I doing this the right way? Or, you got people on the outside saying different things. But ultimately, I think the game of basketball playing, it prepared me for those tough moments, and just deep down, just continuing to believe in myself the same way I believed in my ability and my work ethic to be a professional basketball player. I've used those habits that I've instilled in myself, or that my family, friends, supporter has instilled in me throughout the years, and parlayed that and pushed that into, the business world and the nonprofit world.
I feel like no matter how great you are, changing from a different environment must be like a humbling experience, like going to these different countries and different cultures. Even if you're going to be the best player in the team, it doesn't matter, because you need to like assimilate. You need to like learn how to like interact with different people, or how to be accepted by a team, or different things like that. So no matter your skill set, I feel like it's got to be humbling entering in a new culture, whether it be basketball or a different business. Was that what your experience was?
Absolutely. Not just from a basketball standpoint, but from a culture standpoint, life standpoint, traveling to different countries. And the way it is overseas, they'll pick you up, that first day you get to the airport, they'll pick you up, they'll drive you maybe to the gym to see it, drive you to your house, you'll have your car, and then you're on your own. Sometimes you may not have the GPS set up, and you have to figure out, the way of life in each different country, each different city. Some areas they may not speak, that good of English, where you don't understand. So it's time, I really had to take a deep dive and learn some of the language and how to communicate and get by, or the different driving rules, or just the different ways of life. So it was a very humbling experience, both on and off the court, but something that I'm very, very grateful for and appreciative of. And not only just for me, but my family was able to come over. I had friends visit, and just to see different parts of the world and things that you read about and hear about in the history classes while you're in school. So it's been a great experience, but it's been tough, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And I'm excited that I was able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, just an awesome experience. Again, I want to dive into that at some point, because if we could spend it,
a lot of stories.
Yeah, I can't imagine. All right, so getting into your foundations start, you got back from Egypt, and you're really starting the Juice Hoops Foundation. Say you're a year in, or whatever it is when you're first starting. Was there some major setback in that first year, or maybe a wall that you hit where you're like, okay, we had this big idea, we mapped out, we knew what we were going to do, we have like the name of it, we got the logo, it's going to be awesome, was there a major wall or setback that you hit where it was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be, or I didn't know this problem we're going to face it?
Yeah, just in the beginning, everything that we did was self-funded from the startup of everything, getting the structure of it set up with the, government, getting the EIN number. Everything was self-funded. And after the first event, just playing basketball, not to say we thought it would be easy, but thought we would have a lot more support, just from the people that we met, the relationships, and just seeing that the awareness we didn't raise right away from the beginning after having a successful event, that kind of, can kind of mess with you mentally, as you want things to be big, but just kind of pushing back to, the life lessons that you learn from basketball and delayed gratification. It's a process, and kind of have to look back and, okay, this is a hurdle right now. We don't have all the support that we want, but we have to show people, what we're capable of doing, the lives that we're going to impact, and eventually, the funding will come to be able to really assist and help these kids. So in the beginning, it was tough just not having all the support in the world that we anticipated or would like, or just the funding to be able to do the things, that we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So that was a big hurdle in the beginning. And, we stuck together as a team, and, we were able to put on more successful events. And as we continue to build that awareness, and people understood our mission and what we were trying to do and what we were doing, that's when the support and everything of the people we've met, or new people that we came across, were more willing to support us. Oh, we'll come out and volunteer. Oh, we're willing to donate this, or, and be more helpful. So, So that's been a big thing, and just staying, I guess, even keeled, and really just keeping the main thing, which is just helping the kids.
Interesting. So like when you first kind of launched, you had got like this general interest or support for you guys, it sounded like. And then when you guys really needed to get going, you getting funding and getting money and all those things, it was less than you would thought it'd be just by the support you originally got. Is that right? And then once you really started doing the events, that's when people started to see what you were doing and be able to see how they could help and be able to be driven to maybe participate. Is that kind of what happened there?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And, just now understanding that, what I was able to do with basketball is completely different of what we're doing here in the nonprofit segment. So it's two completely different worlds, and not to say foolish for thinking that, but, a lot of people want to help. A lot of people have been supportive, but you still have to, going back to that small fish in a big pond, there's so many other nonprofit organizations out there that have already made a huge impact and doing so many great things for the community and for the world. We didn't guess kind of starting off, some people are, not to say iffy, but you kind of got to, show what you're doing and what differentiates you from other nonprofit organizations, or, people out there just with their hand out trying to, do things just for financial gain. Mm-hmm. And that's not what we're about. So we kind of had to prove ourselves again, and looking back on it, I'm really happy it went that way, because in the day, it's a challenge, it's competition, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, because now we impacting so many lives of the neurodiverse community as well as the neurotypical community.
What did those months following that first event, where you felt like you didn't get enough funding as much as you wanted to hosting the future ones, what do those first events look like that got more people involved than the first one? What type of things were you doing? What type of things were you showing people? How did you get more people involved? Networking,
going out, you're going to lose a lot of sleep, because juggling, your for-profit business, my basketball training, that's hours at a time of being in the gym, helping players develop, spending time with them, then that balance, family life, then going out to different events, meeting other members of nonprofit organizations, having those conversations of how we can collaborate and help each other and come together. So just months in between, we had our events. We had our first event in August, and then our next event wasn't until the end of December. So in between that time, we had to meet a lot of people, talk to a lot of people, have a lot of meetings as a team, or, in-house meetings of okay, these are the people we need to go and reach out to. These are the people we need to meet. How can we come together? What services we offer and how that can benefit other organizations. So it was a lot of going to different fundraisers, different galas, different events, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of Zoom meetings, which are still happening. But in the beginning, we really had to dive in and learn because we were inexperienced. We were just starting off as a nonprofit organization. So we, in a way, kind of had to play catch up. And the people that we were able to come across have been so instrumental in our growth of just being present, being willing to share information or resources and really guiding us to drive this thing forward. That's been the main thing.
Yeah. I mean, it probably goes for any organization. If you're trying to make an impact on people in a community, naturally you need to interact with people in the community and people that make decisions within that community, and putting yourself out there is maybe a hard step to take, especially when you're coming from, like you said, you're a basketball player, you have a following, people support you, and then you have to do it in a whole different way for people to follow you and support you on this whole professional level, and have them meet you in a professional level and talk to you on a different level. That's an interesting change in pace, but I like that you guys were like, okay, this first event went well, but then I didn't get the funding. And then it was just kind of a grind time. We need to go out and meet as many people and figure out how we can get this done. That's a gritty 6 months, it looks like, for you guys before that next event in December.
Yeah. And it's also just the process, just remembering to take the small steps. If you use baseball as a way to explain it, you're not going to hit a home run every time. You got to hit those base hits and start small, step-by-step process to get to the end goal, to really just impact the entire world. Because our organization, we're doing a lot of things here in Chicago, but ultimately our goal is to be able to impact people, not just here in the United States and other states, but throughout the world and other countries. With my background of playing professional basketball in Europe, Asia, and Africa, we want to be able to go out and impact people over there, because not just from a neurodiversity standpoint, but from an educational standpoint, community, and a basketball standpoint, it's all over the world. And those are our 4 pillars of the Juice Hoops Foundation: basketball, education, community, and neurodiversity. So we want to be able to touch as many lives as possible all over.
Where do you guys sit now or where do you sit in terms of your time split during the day? You have your training business that you're obviously running for profit, keeping things going, and you have Juice Hoops Foundation, which is a whole non-for-profit. How much time do you have to dedicate to each one, maybe when it was starting out and where you're at now? How's your time split? And does the balance help you do one and the other? Like, does having the training business help you run the Juice Hoops because it takes your mind in different places?
Yeah. Oh, man. So it kind of varies, in the beginning, as we were starting off, of the nonprofit, the training business was going well, but my basketball training business wasn't as big as it is now. So having that balance of, all right, I can train this day, work on a nonprofit that day, it was tough. But now I think over time we've gained that experience, and we got a pretty good handle on things, because our team, we've had a lot of workshops and strategic planning meetings with some reputable organizations. And, just being a Northwestern graduate, I've had a lot of assistance and guidance from some Northwestern alums in the nonprofit space, as well as the business space. And so like a day-to-day now, it's a weekday. So usually I drop my kids off at school, and while they're at school, I try to set up all of my Zoom meetings or in-person meetings, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or, as we come down to your office to work on the projects we're working on, try to get that done during the day. And then, so being abroad overseas so many years, I missed those days of drop-offs and pick-up for my kids at school. So, my wife, she's back working now, so I like to handle all of that. And once after school is over, I like to spend some time with my boys. We love to play basketball. And then at night, that's when I go into my training business. So then weekends, it's pretty much morning to afternoon of training, and just mixing in different times when I can find a meeting here and there, just finding that balance of business as well as nonprofit stuff. And to answer your other question, kind of goes hand in hand. a lot of the players that I work with in the Juice Hoops training business, there are members or participants of the Juice Hoops Foundation events, and not necessarily members who participate playing. For example, our next event here in June called Neuro Heroes, it's for neurodivergent children. And a lot of the players that I work with, that I train, the high schoolers, they're going to participate as mentors and coaches. So it's a way to kind of educate them on the neurodiverse community, but also have them involved in other things outside of playing basketball, and kind of expand their horizons and, bring people from different walks of life together.
That's awesome.
So it's a lot of busy work, but it's fun.
It's a lot of moving parts. So how does the moving parts work? Is it your brother that you do this with, or you call him your brother and he's your friend? How does it work?
No, he's my brother. He's 4 years older than me, and mentioning earlier, he's been so instrumental in my growth on and off the court. He's 4 years older, so when he was in high school, I was in elementary school, looking up and seeing that level of where he played, and when he played in college, I got a glimpse from a high school lens of what it takes to succeed in college. So we've been working together and everything. He's a basketball agent now, so he's still around the game, and he was my trainer when I played, and now we just always collaborate and always had a really strong relationship. And so we're the main two that are running the nonprofit organization, and one of his best friends is also on the board as the secretary, and a really good friend of mine who I met at Northwestern, who was working as our equipment manager at the time, the guy who's been interested in your hats. He's been, an older person who's really given me a lot of guidance and support over the years. He's also part of our organization, and just a lot of friends and family have been willing to support, volunteer their time and help. But the main two is me and my brother. We're the two that are on the phone all day, every day, sending the emails, reaching out, going to meet the people. So we have a strong knitted team.
Awesome. And it sounds like everything's kind of coming back to the idea of people around you, whether you're meeting with new people, asking people for advice, getting meetings with different people, talking with your alumni network. Like, there's always these different network effects that you're kind of finding yourself into, it seems like. Is that something you saw yourself doing when you first started Juice Hoops? With, like, did you imagine it being you collaborating and meeting with all these different people? Was that always in how you saw it going?
No, I've always been, outgoing people's person, but I did not see, going to so many events and really, really talking and meeting so many influential people, but open and people that kind of share the same passions to help others. I did not see it being as big as it is now. I knew we would have to go out and meet people and build relationships and connections, but I did not see it being as big. But now that it's going this way, I'm very happy, and it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun being in different rooms, meeting different people, hearing their stories, their passions, what drove them. And then as you get to meet people, you see you have a lot of similarities with people, not just, from what you do as your profession, but, your stories with their children or the challenges that they may face. So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's me personally, like, I don't naturally go out and try to meet a lot of people. And when I do get to meet people, like new customers or new clients or maybe vendors or different things like that, and I start putting the pieces together, it's immediately like sounds off like this network effect that I think a lot of people start in their own business are so focused on doing the work and figure out how to get people to help participate or join or secure funding and things like that. And you're trying to do the work, and you think that socializing almost is like a distraction. And when you're leading the organization, it's important to connect with those people, make the network, and help it grow for your organization. And it seems like you've been doing that extremely well.
Yeah, it's fun. As we touched on, it's not what you know, who you know, and it's fun just meeting people and just talking, just a conversation. And as we kind of talked about earlier, it's a lot of no's. You may get some yes, but even if a person says no, even if they can introduce you or give you a name of someone that's in your field that can assist, that's even better. And the way I look at it, every moment, every day is an opportunity. There's always opportunities out there. You just have to be open-minded and look for it. You know, sometimes it'll fall in your lap, but just got to look at the positive of everything and have a sense of gratitude, and, you know, just don't burn bridges. Just be open and be kind to everyone.
Love it. For you guys starting out where you are now, was there a big picture goal where you said, like, all right, in 5 years, we want to be, you know, this organization, we want to be, you know, helping this many people, or we want to be in this city, or like, was there a big goal that you guys had that you guys have dreamed of? And has there been like a little milestone for you guys recently that has made you feel like, oh, we've come a long way?
Yeah, you know, big picture goals. I kind of mentioned it earlier. You know, we want to be able to impact lives all over, different continents, different areas of the world. You know, France, Germany, places I played. We want to be able to go into those countries and have our basketball camps or have workshops and help those people that are in need in different countries. And just here on a local standpoint, we want to be a big hub. We want to be an organization that lasts forever. You know, we've had some conversations with some organizations that have been around 30 plus years, and we want to be similar to that and be able to, you know, reach back and help those starting, you know, up and coming nonprofit organizations or businesses in the future. And so, you know, we just want to be able to assist people, grow, and provide opportunities.
And for you guys, has there been a recent milestone for you that has made you like, or recent or in the past couple of years have made you realize how far you've come from when you had started?
Yeah, I would say after our second event at the end of December, that was our first event for the neurodiverse community. We really started to see a shift in the amount of support that we were able to receive and just the partnerships and collaborations that we've been able to gain. And now we're going into June to have our second event for the neurodiverse community. So we've been able to establish some really, really solid partnerships and collaboration with some reputable organizations that, you know, not only willing to come out and assist and help, but provide some products to help the children. And, you know, just these last few months, we really felt like we've grown a lot in a short period of time. You know, June 9th is going to be the 1 year anniversary of our existence. And our third event is going to be June 8th, the day before. So it's kind of like a celebration, but, you know, we got a lot of people, you know, through Northwestern coming out, you know, former president of Special Olympics coming out to the event. And we were able to provide like a different holistic approach to our events. So we really feel like we've grown a lot. We still have a long way to go, but we're continuously getting better, and the supporters and the people that are extending themselves to us, we really feel like we've been able to make a huge impact in a short period of time. And we're excited to see how much more of an impact we can make in the future.
Yeah. I mean, that event in, to June 8th, June 9th?
Yes. June 8th. Yeah.
Yeah. That will be an awesome, it means great that you guys do the work in person too, and really see the impact you're having right there face to face. For this last part, this last segment, we'll call it, it's just trying to get some like general advice for people maybe they're graduating college, maybe they're retiring from pro, maybe they're none of those things. They're just trying to get started. Is there any advice you would give to somebody in those positions, starting their nonprofit, starting in their local business, again, that you would wish you had heard maybe when you first got your feet wet? Yeah,
let's say have a plan. I think I did a really good job with my brother of just mapping it out and attacking it early. We had this vision and idea. I mean, we didn't fully know exactly how to go about it. So have an idea, you know, write things down, take notes. What are you passionate about? What can you see yourself getting into? And earlier, you know, take advantage and use the resources and the network that you have. Reach out to people before you're done playing basketball, playing a sport, before you graduate. Have an idea of what it is that you want to do, and talk to people that are in that field already, that have had success, that can guide you and give you advice. And all in all, just put your all into it. You know, if you're doing something that you're passionate about, it never feels like work. You know, keep those relationships strong and just give your all in everything you do, and continue to believe in yourself. because there's going to be a lot of outside noise with everything that you do, especially with the way social media and everything is now. Stay even keeled. You're going to have some highs and lows. Everything won't be great, but just continue to believe in yourself and push forward.
Love it. And to cap it all off, was there anything that somebody's concerned about the transition going into this new profession almost? Is there anything that you want to highlight in terms of like struggles that you had in your transition from the two, and how you were able to transition so well?
Yeah. Just missing the game of basketball for me, being a performer, professional player and no longer playing, in the beginning, it's okay. But after a little bit of time, it sets in, you start to miss the locker room, or the main thing for me that I miss is the process of it. Constantly being in the gym, you have your team practices, but being in there, an hour before practice, staying an hour after, you're going to have those times where you really, really miss the game, and just the life, just everything that I'm doing now is different. It's an adjustment. I'm used to being, in a gym training for myself, but now that I'm home, it's full-time dad mode or working to assist kids. So just kind of keeping that positive mindset, being grateful for the opportunities that you have had and looking forward to the next phase. Just what's next, and, not letting it get you down, but enjoy the moments. And sometimes for me, it has helped looking back on some highlights and reminding myself of what I was able to accomplish and doing things.
Special guest.
Yeah.
Love it. We'll wrap up there. I appreciate all the insight you've given on your journey so far with all this. Wishing you guys the best of luck. Hopefully we'll be right by your sides with the merch we're doing. We'll put out some of that stuff soon.
Absolutely.
And then also hopefully we do like a special like spin-off episode where you just like sit down and maybe when you're here and just talk about these different stories you have from the years overseas.
Oh, I would love to do that. I'm looking forward to it. Really appreciate you all considering me and having me as a guest on the show. Excited to see what's next. And yeah, we're definitely going to continue to do some work together, because the things you all have been able to teach us, education is a big thing. You've educated us so much, and just, you all are great people. We come into the office, a lot of great energy in there and never feels like work. So, can't thank you all enough for everything you've done, and excited to continue to grow and build with you guys.
Appreciate that.